The second was only this year, also connected with Badagry Festival. But the homecoming this year has a longer history. It is tied to the first homecoming of an icon, a celebrated scholar and cultural icon of the Ketu in Salvador, which the local people called Nagotedu. They call it Nagotedu, which means Yoruba Tedu. The Portuguese call it Salvador. So, in 1967, I was just starting my graduate study here when this man came, and I think those of us who are here from Ife will remember Descoredes, Maximiliano dos Santos, met Didi, because he subsequently came and had some research stay in University of Ife. But in 1967, he was just coming. So he was brought to me. I was in Teda Hall, that he is already equipped with information that his people are from Ketu. He didn't speak Yoruba. He didn't speak English. He didn't speak French. He spoke Portuguese. The only Yoruba he spoke was the cult Yoruba, the Oriki of the family, the Oriki of the Orisha. That was what he came with. So Pierre Vajay, whom some of us will know here, brought him and said, Mr. Shiwaju, I think you have to follow us to Ketu. I have known Pierre Vajay for some time. So the long and short of the story is that we went to Ketu. We went to Ketu in 1967, equipped with Oriki. We have already told the Oba, the Alaketu of yesterday, who was just 2 years, 3 years old on the throne on that occasion. And he has assembled all the elders, all the chiefs, men, women, to await us. So we got to the palace. What is the, okay, we introduced ourselves. Okay, what is the mission? So he said, this is the man who says he's from Ketu and wants to know his family in Ketu. So, what has he to offer as evidence? Oriki. Oriki. And this man started to chant the Oriki of the family. Chant and chant. Omoba Aleke. Omoba Oshosi. All those citations we had recently, me and Professor Yai. And when he has finished, one time, there was silence in the court. Second time, there was again silence. Just as you are silent. But the third time, a woman stood up, elderly woman, and said, Kabesi, don't you know this boy? Kabesi said, no. Then he called another elderly person that he thought, they said, we can't make it out. This is from Kosiku village. Their compound here is Ijabo. But his people don't come to town again. They live most of the time in the village. If he has to find them, he has to go to Kosiku. Ijabo is the name of the lineage compound inside Ketu itself. So, he was so happy that at least some leeway was being found. Yeah. So, the rest of the day was visit of the shrines, because that's what they believe in. And he used to feel disappointed each time they go into the shrines and I stay out. I am a Roman Catholic. I cannot participate in pagan rites. He used to look at me and feel pity for me. So the following day we headed for Kusiku village. And they were waiting for us. The cabins here sent for them. They were waiting for us. And when we got there, it was a horseshoe formation. And the Baale, the elders of the village were waiting. But as we entered, you know, there is this, it was dry season, and you know, in the savannah area, I'm sure those of us from savannah area may be familiar with rituals that are usually performed. A pole here, a string across, and then a mat, and an unfortunate chicken, hand, you know, and then on the side is an agbo arrow. So you use the arrow before you enter the village to immunization. So when we saw that in entering the village, Dos Santos waited and looked at it. His wife was photographing. And then we moved, and at the center of the village was Oshosi shrine. Oshosi is the other name of Ogun for the hunters. And he broke down emotionally. He wept and wept and wept and wept. What is going on? Yahweh told us, let's leave him to pour it down. So he told his wife, and he translated to us, interpreted to us. Certainly, this was the village from which my great, because it was in the 6th generation of separation. But what they did was to replicate that structure in Bahia. So he said, certainly it's here. So anyway, let's go. The people are already waiting for us. So we went to the place where we were received. We told them, they said, yes, cabbage has already sent messages, but we have to go to the shrine. So we went to the shrine, to the Oshosi shrine, and the Baale, through the traditional throwing of kola nut. Huh? You know what I mean? Yeah. He was so happy. So libation. Then the man said there is still another test. That is their own DNA. There's another test. The youths in the village must go on hunting, because this is an Oshosi worshipping village community. They must go on hunting. If they kill, if the first kill is a male, that was fantastic. If it is a female, well, good, but not so good. But if they go all day and they kill nothing, that is zero. That's zero. So we stayed in the village. The youth went into and we were talking, and Pierre Vaje was telling his story, blah, 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 blah. All of a sudden, Dos Santos said, there is a gunshot. Told his wife, there is a gunshot. The Baale said, lóòótọ́ ni there is a gunshot. Àwọn ò gbọ́. But tòun ti gbọ́. That's the gunshot. That's the gunshot. And within minutes, they came back. It was a huge antelope. Male. Pardon me, the women folk among us, So it was jubilation and jubilation. So they started to process the antelope, and the youth went back to the village. By 4 or 5 o'clock, they came back. All kinds of animals. Oh yeah, even they kill more of the antelope, the Igala and Egbi. So I tell you, Dos Santos stayed in that village for 2 weeks. Well, I couldn't stay 2 weeks. I came back to Ibadan. So this year, when the organizers of Badagry Festival were persuaded to focus on Latin America, with particular reference to the Brazilians, they invited the family of Dos Santos. On our persuasion, on my persuasion, on Professor Yai's persuasion, and they came, 5 of them. Dos Santos' eldest daughter, Nindian, 73. His son, Dos Santos' grandson, who was the Otun Alagba. Dos Santos himself is the Alakmini of the whole of Latin America. The head of Egungun cult in the whole of Latin America. The Igbale Egungun in Bahia, in Nagotedo, is the regional, is the Latin American regional Igbale. So they came. The Otun Alagba, the Osi Alagba, they were 5. That was how many money could bring. So they were star in the festival in Badagry. But again, Badagry was not the interest. They must visit the homestead of their father, which was visited 50 years ago this year. Okay? And we went there. Well, I suppose I should not extend the story beyond what Professor Yai might wish to supply by way of information. It was big. It was big. We went through Imeko because of a complication of paper, passport, blah, blah. They have only 1 entry visa. So if they stamp it in Iroko, they won't be able to come back. So, well, I was the visa. And they came from Ketu, led us from Embark, through the border to Kosiku village. Come and see it. And then to Ketu, come and see it. In the palace of the Alaketu, come and see it. At Ijabo, that was the most interesting. The elderly women and men were assembled. The oldest was a woman of the same Ashikpa family as Dos Santos. So they sat, Mama, his daughter, by the side of this. The photograph, the visage, the face, so much like you've never seen before. The similarities. Anyway, so they gave her the kola nut. So, and then she prayed. Of course, she's used to praying in Yoruba cult language, and then he threw the. Professor, what happened? It was jubilation. The housewives, everybody, so before we headed for Kosiku, before that, we went into the compound itself. They were just initiating somebody into Shango cult. And so they were so happy to see it done at home. We were disgusted, but they were not. And then we went to Kosiku. In Kosiku, it was Ochosi. And then the shrine of Ogun. And there was this goat, not a dog, a goat that was paraded. Poor goat. I looked at the poor goat. I said, well, you are in for trouble. So as they were preparing to decapitate, I just moved away from the crowd and went into the bush. I said I was going to ease myself. I wasn't going to sit. When I came back, they said, Professor, where did you go? It was wonderful. One stroke. I said, that is exactly what I didn't want to see. So, there we are. The people in the diaspora are so much part and parcel of this unbelievably historic population. They record these memories in folklore and in songs. One that I want to ask Professor Yai to sing is the Ketu national anthem in Bahia. Baba, Efara Yimora. So they have the word themselves. The word is Efaraimora, Efaraimora, Araketue, Efaraim. When we sang it in the palace in Ketu, the entire court, you know. And so it was. They still feel Ketu. They still feel Yoruba. How can you then in Ibadan plan development of the Yoruba in exclusion of a people like that? So, I want to conclude that for as long as the focus of Dawn is on cooperation and integration, or it is on development rather than politics, we have to know that there is a possibility for expanding the notion of cooperation and integration beyond Western Nigeria, because the people you are concerned with transcend Western Nigeria.